Aerospace Archaeology. If you're wondering what that is, well, it's a discipline based on one of the greatest inventions of the last century, the aerospace industry.
Here to tell us more about it is the host of the Warbird Show, Chris McDaniel. Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, and welcome back to Arizona.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, aerospace archaeology, to me, it's a discipline based on what I think is the greatest invention of last century, which was flight. You know, the first flight was 1903, and we progressed the whole century with World War II, a lot of aviation training here in Arizona, the space program, up to, UAVs.
So is that how you kind of get started in this field? Is you just have a passion for it?
I did. I had a passion for aviation, hiking. I loved doing the research and just combining all those elements. I was able to find a lot of crash sites around Arizona. Because again, during World War II, there were so many airfields that popped up around Arizona. And unfortunately, some crashes occurred.
And can you tell us about some of those wrecks?
Yeah, sure. There was an FM-2, which is a Navy plane that crashed, just near Houghton and Marion Cleveland Parkway, which is just almost down the street. So after doing research, finding these crash sites is almost the culmination of my research. And I try to learn as much as I can about the men, the plane, the personnel on board. Another crash site was a B-24, which is a four-engine World War II aero bomber. They flew those out of Davis-Monthan. One of them crashed in the Catalinas. And as I'm doing my research, that picture right there, you can look, I'm trying to get dramatic, piece of debris, and I'm looking back at Thimble Peak. And that's a B-24 right there. This plane unfortunately crashed. It was a combat-ready bomber, killed 10 men, and one of my hikes a couple years ago, I came across this dog tag, which was pretty amazing.
Wow.
Yeah, and this dog tag belonged to the bombardier on the plane. And it took a couple years, but I was able to return the dog tag to surviving family members, which, that's kind of the thrilling part of doing the research. Excuse me, that was, kind of that personal touch like that. But ultimately, I'm really trying to find these crash sites, document what's left. And a lot of times, there's not much. I mean, there might be more aluminum in a six-pack of soda, but still, after doing research, I really want to try to find these crash sites.
And as you were just saying, you were kind of getting a little emotional because there are some, personal pieces that you can run across that could mean something very personal for someone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And this plane that crashed in the Catalinas in 1944, it really spread out over a couple miles. And, as I'm documenting everything, it is, 1944, it's been 70 years ago, but still, when you come across some personal items, it really kind of brings everything home.
So take us through what you do when you come across a crash site. How do you first attack it? I mean, what are the debris that you take? What's the stuff that you leave? And how do you go from there?
Yeah, no, I try to remove everything. I mean, I try to leave everything, just because from a historical and perspective, it's just fascinating to see really how time stood still in 1943, for instance. One of the pictures I have shows an insignia on a wing of an airplane. And that picture was taken about 20 years ago. But I try to document everything that I can at the crash site. Because the military investigation 70 years ago during World War II was pretty much get the bodies, maybe if there was a bomb site or some armament, take that stuff away, and then the plane was left. Sometimes they'd try to burn or smash the debris just so nobody else could run up there and take anything. But for the most part, I'm getting up there, and finding these crash sites isn't easy either. Every crash site I've been to, I've probably been on several hikes trying to find it. So once I find it, again, I'm just doing a documentation of where the debris currently exists, what's left, and just kind of catalog it.
Now, of course, we've seen some of the pictures of your past crash sites that you've been to and what you found. What's your focus right now? Yeah,
so my focus continues to be on the World War II era, just because, again, there are so many wrecks. I can even give an example. In November of 1944, two bombers collided just about half a mile south of here. So it's pretty well built up, but still, to conclude my research, I'd love to find those crash sites. It was just, between Speedway and Broadway along Pantano Wash. And,
wow.
And then my other focus continues to be on the U-2 program. So Davis-Monthan, they're flying the U-2 spy planes, reconnaissance planes out of Davis-Monthan in the late 60s and 70s. And it's, it's pretty rare to find a U-2 crash site. I've been to a couple, and there's still a couple more in Arizona that I'd like to track down. So I have my hands full. It's pretty hard to find a U-2 crash site. But
that's very interesting.
I know, and I can't leave without asking, what is this on your lapel and what does it mean?
Yeah, it's a B-29 bomber, and that's what they used to fly out of Davis-Monthan at the end of World War II. So they transitioned from B-24s to B-29s, and it's just symbolic to me to be able to wear that pin and represent the men and women who built and flew those airplanes.
That's amazing. Very interesting work that you do, and it's almost like taking a step back into time. So we thank you so much for sharing your photos and giving us a little bit of information of what you do. And if you at home would like to find out more information about Chris and his fascinating discipline, you can call 840-4703 or visit aerospacearchaeology.com.